My name is Aisha Begum, and today I'll be presenting to you about the role of fact-finding for business issues. The point of fact-finding is to gain information for improvement in an organization. Kendo and Kendall say that there are three methods in order to gain information. These are interviewing, observing joint application design, and using questionnaires to survey people. In order to find facts, there are three main ways of retrieving the type of answer wanted through the type of question asked: open, closed, and probing questions. Open questions give more detailed answers. They are asked to get a lot of information. Please explain how you make a scheduling decision is an example. This requires an explanatory answer. An advantage of this is that the question provides a lot of detail that could be useful. However, if the question type isn't asked for the right reason, it could result in too much irrelevant detail. Contrasting to open questions are closed questions. They are asked in order to get a short, focused answer. An example of this is it easy to use the current system? This type of question gives a choice of either yes or no. Not a lot of detail is needed, and it is straight to the point. Closed questions allow data to be stored easily. This is advantageous for an organization. The downfall is that when asking the question, the interviewee can get bored and won't really be able to address the reasons for the questions. A follow-up question is probing. Please elaborate on that for me. Businesses would probe in order to get more information. Probes consist of either open or closed questions. Pyramid, funnel, and diamond are the structures of the way you ask questions in order to get a specific answer. The pyramid structure is asking closed questions and then ends with open questions. Interviewers are more likely to use this structure to get more detail, but by firstly warming up the interviewee so that the answer can be retrieved. By the end of the conversation, the topic is built upon. The funnel structure, however, is the opposite to the pyramid structure, asking open questions to then ending with closed questions. Interviewers use the funnel structure so that the interview is less intimidating and allows the interviewee to be more open and expressive. The diamond structure is the pyramid and the funnel structure combined. Closed questions are first asked, then the conversation builds up to open questions, to then end with closed questions. Interviewers use this structure to open up a topic through closed questions and then descriptively be able to discuss the topic, to then end with closed questions to summarize the topic. Depending on the type of organization and the data the organization is wanting, a mixed variety of types of questions should be asked in order to keep the interviewee intrigued. Quantitative and qualitative data are primary ways in order for businesses to explore current trends in the business. There are various ways of being able to retrieve the primary data, and that is through questionnaires, interviews, surveys, sampling, and so forth. Depending on the type of question used to retrieve the data, it can either be qualitative or quantitative. Qualitative data is retrieved research depending on people's attitudes and opinions. The research could be consumer tastes, likes and dislikes. Open questions provide qualitative data, as this type of question allows people to express their views. An organization can use qualitative data in order to get depth of research for business issues. Quantitative data is presented through factual numbers. Examples are of units sold and percentage of market share. Closed questions provide quantitative data as they can be analyzed easily and be presented as statistics. Usually, they require the interviewee to respond with either yes or no. Quantitative data can be viewed through charts and graphs. Questionnaires are designed specifically for a certain reason. A business issue could be applied to a questionnaire to retrieve data in order to solve or improve the issue. This could be applied to the people of an organization and how they might be affected. Questionnaires are either completed face-to-face, through the telephone, emails, or by post. The different types of methods are able to produce different response rates, as people have to be willing to do the questionnaire. Questionnaires provide primary research of either qualitative and quantitative data. Organizations can use the retrieved data and analyze it in order to solve a business issue. However, interviews are designed for the purpose of the people being interviewed, which could be regarding a business issue. An information gathering interview is one that is directed to use a question and answer format. During the interview, the interviewers want to get an opinion of the interviewee about the current organization and systems. Opinions can be more revealing than facts. Therefore, questions need to be asked so that the opinions and facts can be weighed out. By seeking opinions over facts, you discover the wider issues. For example, Kendall and Kendall mentioned that in the scenario of a traditional store that has recently opened a website are retrieving refunds back to the store by 10.5 per week. That's just facts that can't be worked with. However, by asking the owner, you discover the key problems. For example, asking the owner of the store what the major concerns are, and then the owner is able to explain further. Web surveys are optional surveys, usually on the web. Web surveys contain a series of different types of questions in order to retrieve data regarding a business issue. It is an optional survey, therefore the person attempting it is willing to do it, and the information is more likely to be accurate. This is an example of a web survey that I had created on Google Forms, showing examples of different types of questions that can be asked and how you would allow the user to answer the questions in order to retrieve the data. Web surveys are built online, and there are different ways that web surveys are able to capture responses. Radio buttons are circular-shaped buttons that allow you to choose one option of a multiple-choice question. One-line text boxes allow the user to write in the box, being able to give opinions with a word limit. Scrolling text boxes allow users to be able to answer back in paragraphs if wanted, but a user can write as much as they want of their opinion. Drop-down menu, the user is able to choose the answer from a list. Checkboxes allow users to click more than one option on a multiple-choice question. Scales, users choose how much or how less they agree, or from my example, prefers the options provided on the survey. Scales can be presented numerically, known as interval scales, or just be labeled, known as nominal scales. The process of sampling is selecting representatives of a certain group to then analyze answers which would then represent the group as a whole. In order to speed the process of gathering information, organizations can use sampling. However, the downfall to sampling is that each and every person of the certain group have different perspectives. Therefore, results won't be as accurate. There are different types of sampling methods that businesses could use. A few of the methods are random sampling, where an organization affects more than one group and randomly samples at least 2 or more people from that group in order to generate the data. Systematic sampling, every certain number is chosen. For example, out of 100, every 10th person is chosen to be a part of the sample. Cluster sampling, one subsection is chosen in order to represent the whole population. This type of sampling can be seen as biased as everyone has a different point of view. Analysis of data and discovery is investigation. The role of a systems analyst is an example of how one could investigate the issue of an organization and the people working for it. It is important to examine different types of hard data as it reveals where the organization has been and where the members think it's going. Quantitative data documents can be analyzed. This data can be reports used for decision making. An analyst needs these reports in order to investigate the progress of the decisions made. An example of this is a sales report, which summarizes the sold amount and what has been sold. These reports allow trends to be spotted quickly. Also, performance reports can be investigated as it is important to assess the actual performance with the intended to see what has been done and what needs to be done. Organizations will then know how to face the issue. Reactions, patterns, trends, attitudes, body language, and time is what is observed in order to see if an idea is fulfilling what was planned or to see if a possible idea could be implemented. Kendall and Kendall state that there are 2 ways of observing, and that is through behavior and environment. Observing a decision maker's behavior, an analyst can observe the activities of what is happening rather than what is explained or documented. Furthermore, the analyst can view the relationships of the organizational members and the decision maker. Observing the physical environment can also prove to be vital, as well as the people. Where decision makers work can review the human information requirements. Decision makers are influenced by their working environment, their offices, as it's their primary workplace. The technology in the office could be one that motivates decision makers or disappoints them, meaning that the technology should try to be replaced. Without observing the matter, it won't be known. An example of observation being used in a company is the Liberty of London shop in London. There are episodes on Channel 4 that preview the day-to-day issues that the business faces. On Series 2, Episode 2, it is previewed that the women's designer section is dropping in sales. By observing and looking around and trying to improve the section, it was identified that not enough stock was visually laid out. The manager then proposed that once displayed stock is sold, it should be replaced so that more can be sold, and the customers will be able to see the product to buy it. Eventually, sales started to rise. However, observation also has limitations in the fact that people have their own opinions and will not agree to what observation proposes. A data flow diagram is used in businesses to view the system inputs, processes, and outputs in a general system. However, in a larger business, it is used to analyze procedures of that system. The diagram is symbolic, therefore the shapes have different meanings. These are the 4 basic symbols. The rectangular shape means entity. This is a source of data and would, for example, represent a customer or employee. A half rectangular shape with a line down the left side. This represents data store. This is where data is held in between processes. An example of this is stock. An arrow which represents the flow of data could represent an invoice. A curved square with a line on the top going through horizontally is a process, which can be to check an order. The example of the data flow diagram is a context level DFD, which represents the system that a customer with a loyalty card goes through. Firstly, on the diagram we have entities, which is the customer database and the retail shop. DFDs start with entities, and as previewed on the diagram, I have created the system to start with the customer who chooses the clothes and makes the purchases. The purchases are made in the retail shop. Customers usually with a loyalty card have a customer database. That database either authorizes the purchase, or in the event that the card is expired or damaged, the card is declined. The customer still purchases the product with or without the loyalty card. The shop provides the clothes and scans the item. The customer could also receive a decline notification of the loyalty card. There are different levels of DFDs. Businesses such as the retail shop can use DFDs to analyze the running of a system and look at different ways of being able to improve that system. Regarding a business issue and to observe that issue, DFDs can be created in order to check that the organization is running the way it should be. To conclude, it can be seen that businesses have a variety of ways to find facts regarding the issue of a business, which could be positive or negative. Fact-finding overall is used to improve the business, and businesses are able to develop their strategies through the process of fact-finding. If fact-finding techniques are used correctly and appropriately by a business, the issue should more or less be resolved. However, in the case that it is not, there are other fact-finding ways that businesses can use in order to resolve the issue. It should be considered carefully what technique is to be used regarding the issue, as using the wrong techniques can cost and waste time. At the end, there will always be a result, whether that's positive or negative, and the business can understand the issue further. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, contact me on begumay20@cuccollege.coventry.ac.uk. Here are my references.